Hello, Intro to Digital Arts and Photography students. I am Mr. Korb and I am with you today in spirit. Welcome to Art with Korb. Today what we're going to be doing is a number of things. First and foremost, in your Google Classroom, there is an ACT test set of questions I need you to take. It's a short article to read, some images to look at, and then 7 questions. So please read it carefully, take your time, and then hit submit. When you're done with that, after you're done with that, then what we're going to do is we're going to introduce ourselves to Adobe Illustrator. Now, we might have had some time last period to introduce ourselves to Adobe Illustrator. And if we did, great, you are a step ahead. If not, that's what we're going to be doing now. So in your Google Classroom, you have a Intro to Illustrator Hilma Off Clint assignment, and you're going to want to open that up, and then there are 3 images that you're going to download. Those images are then going to, and we're just going to do one at a time, we're going to open them up in Adobe Illustrator, not Photoshop. So make sure you are in Adobe Illustrator, and you got the AI in the upper corner. One of the things to keep in mind is that a lot of the tools are very similar, but this is a vector image, and so we're going to be basing our artwork on that. The first thing I want you to be really aware of is layers. We're going to work again in layers really specifically like we did in Photoshop. So the first thing you'll do is you go to your Google Classroom and you're going to download that first Clint 1 image, and then you'll go to File and Open, and you'll go and find it. It should be Clint 1, so you'll open that up. And then we're going to work in layers. Now, I never want to draw over this original image, so we're going to leave this alone. The other thing is, notice how my white space around it is, well, it's a white space around it. I could do a couple of things. I could, and this is actually what I'll do, is I'll go up here. Let's see if my memory serves me correctly. If I hold Shift, I can, nope, can't do that. So we want to make this bigger. Object, let's see, object. Oh, maybe it's this. Let's see this. There we go. Nope. So we're just going to leave it like that. We'll worry about resizing the image later. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw over the top of this. Down here, there is an Artboard tool. I'm going to click on this Artboard tool, and it should pop up with some white squares that allow me to resize my artboard. Now I know Photoshop is similar with your artboard, so I'm going to resize my image to this. Now again, we might have already done this, and if we have, thanks for being patient. Some of this I've also gone over with you in class, and then we just off-click. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lock this layer, so I can go up to this layer, and now instead of it being over here, between the eyeball and this color is a padlock. And just like we did with other things, we are going to create new layers. So go ahead and create new layers. This will be, I'm going to go green square. Now the nice thing about this particular image is that it's all about rectangles and squares. There's transparency, there's overlapping, and there's a little bit of words in the top. And I want you to be aware of all of that as you're drawing. Now the difference between vector images and pixel images is that I can click on this rectangle tool and I can draw out my square. Notice that it's white in nature. That's because this color is white. It has no stroke around it, no line. I'm going to use my selection tool, not my direct selection tool, to move it to the side. I'm going to click on here. Actually, I'm going to click on my eyedropper tool, select a green, and it's going to fill it in the color I want. For the first project, what I want us to do is get used to drawing squares, drawing shapes, selecting colors, treating things with transparency, with textures. Today is really, for you, a sandbox opportunity. So you have Clint image 1. I think you've got a Clint image 3, which is actually the second image. It looks like this. And then there's another one which I didn't download for my demo video that has some swirls in it. So I think this is image 2 in your Google Classroom, and the other one is image 3 in your Google Classroom. I really want you to experiment with Illustrator just to see what it can do. We're going to do a bigger project after this experimentation. I really want your imagery to look exactly like these images that Hilma af Klint had done 100 years ago on her own, not using digital technology. So you're going to struggle with this. You're going to have a hard time with it, and that's okay. One other thing, and I'll use this image as a real specific. If I zoom in tight down here into these sections, so I can move this over here, you can also use a pen tool. Now I think yours is a little bit different than mine. I think I have an older version, but I can also click, click and drag, click, click and drag, click, 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 and I can do this to, instead of painting the image, I'm outlining and I'm tracing that space. Now watch what happens below this when I land on my first point. It creates a little circle. I don't know if you can see that little circle. That means I have completed the shape. And now I can eyedropper, choose my color, and fill it in. As you're building up all of your images, make sure that you are working very much so with your layer window. There's my layers. Make sure you're using your layers, and you lock that original one. So I can also deal with opacity. On my layer, I can make it transparent. So I want you to play around with this program and figure out what you can do. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. I will be back next week where we're going to really get down and dirty with this. Don't forget to take your ACT test questions. There's only 7 of them, so relax, relax. Treat it like you would any other test. There's no grade on this. You're not getting assessed. This isn't going to hurt your health, your grade at all. We just got to take it, so take it seriously. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, like I said, let me know. Email me. You got my email, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.